Good morning, everybody. MG here, MGCovers, bringing you a brand new sports handicapping video. Title of this video is a sports betting preview of the Sweet 16 for 2022. We're going to break down all my lines. You see them there. Compare those to the sports books lines. Give you some of my leans, potential plays for the Sweet 16. Before we do that, as always, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, greatly appreciate you subscribing to the channel. If you want to follow me on social media, MGCovers, cover spell with a Z, give out a ton of content on Instagram and Twitter as well. Going to start making videos a lot shorter. I think I tend to get a lot more longer views that way. So this video is going to be part of that. So we'll try to make this short and sweet, but give you really good content as well. All right, so let's start right here. Very first game, Arkansas, Gonzaga. If you don't already know, my stat model is based on defensive stats. I don't use any offensive stats. It's been successful over the years, and generally a team if a really good offensive team is playing a really good defensive team, the defensive team will do a better job of slowing down that offensive team. So let's dive right into it. We got Gonzaga, my line -2. Sportsbook line has this at -9.5. What I generally like to see if I'm playing a team, I want to see that team favored via my line. In this case, we have Gonzaga -2 my line. Sportsbook has them at 9.5. Now, granted, there's a little bit of value there on the Arkansas side, obviously, but again, the way that I approach my model, I want to see, if I'm going to play a team, I want to see them favored via my line. But again, a little bit of value on the Arkansas side. It's a lot of points for a Sweet 16 game, right? You kind of look at, I always like to look at who they played getting here to see if they had a tough journey. Played Vermont. Vermont's a good team, can shoot the ball. I think I talked about that in the previous preview. Played New Mexico State, held them to just 48 points. Zags, sort of struggled there with Georgia State early on, and then, of course, really close game with Memphis. So, that is a lot of points, but for me, that would be a game that I would probably pass on. Next, Michigan, way overachieved so far in the tournament. I think everybody would agree to that. My line reflects that as well. We have Michigan +11. We have Villanova favored -11, so we have a 6-point differential in favor of Villanova here. Michigan basically played extremely well against Tennessee. One thing I want to show you too, when you look at these, I always go back and look at the game. Michigan shot 50% from the field, 38% from the three-point line. And you look at Tennessee, shot 42% and 11% from three. And going back to this, I've learned this over the years. And in fact, I had a Division I assistant coach teach me this. He was a Division II coach at the time, is that this is way above their average. 50% from the field, 38% from three-point range for that game specifically, because if you look here, what they normally shoot, 46% and 34%. So again, not a bad field goal percentage team, but just rare for them to shoot those kind of numbers. And that's really been the key why they played so well here lately. Can they keep that pace up? Not sure, especially when they're playing Villanova, a defense that's only given up 58 points in the last 5 games. So very stingy defense. Teams are shooting just 22% 3 points against Villanova. So definitely a strong lean there for Villanova. Texas Tech and Duke, again, another really solid defensive team. Our line shows that. We have Texas Tech -12, Duke +12. Let's see, who was this here they played? Montana State, so they had an easy game here. Beat Notre Dame. That was relatively close. Duke, as we know, Duke really should have lost that Michigan State game. If you watch that, I think they were down, down by 6 with like a minute and a half to go. So that was a tough road for them. And in this game, again, I trust the model here. I definitely a strong lean towards Texas Tech in this one as well. Houston, Arizona. We have same deal here. Houston -10, always been a great defensive team. Arizona +10. You can look at who they played prior coming into this. Pretty much blew out Illinois, 68-53. Blew out UAB. Really tough for Arizona. Arizona was down to Wright State early on. Ended up winning 87-70, and then TCU took them to overtime. So again, same deal here. I would say definitely a strong lean towards Houston in that one. If you see this plus 1.5, just a quick tip, I would take whatever is the cheapest juiced. Meaning, like if you played this, let's see here. Whoops, I don't know if it's going to show it here. Yeah, let's get the money line. See what the money line has for Houston. Okay, I would probably play it on the money line, depending on where you go. Looks like you can get 110 money, 110. I just think that's a better play because that 1.5 doesn't help you, and you're getting a little bit of dog money there, playing them on the money line. All right, let's look to Friday's games. St. Peter's, that's definitely the Cinderella story. But if you follow college basketball for any length, it is rare for one of these teams to advance. I mean, they had same deal. I was talking about stats earlier. UK, I mean, they just played out of their mind, beating Kentucky in overtime. Look at there, 51% from the field, 53% from the three-point line, 86% from the I can't even say it, free throw line. And of course, the next game they played, I don't think they shot that well at all, but they were playing, 42-23 against Murray State, a little bit not as competitive. I mean, obviously the Kentucky was better than Murray State there, but again, this would be a game I probably wouldn't. I just don't like the way it looks, if that makes sense, because at some point you feel like these teams here, if you, like I said earlier, if you study in the past, these teams have a tendency to get blown out, and that definitely feels that way. Obviously, there is value of St. Peter's. I have them at minus 4.5. That's based on the last 5 games, and getting plus 12.5. So, but I just don't like the way this game looks, because it feels like at some point just not going to have the energy to hang with a really good team. Providence, Kansas. We have Providence -1. Books have them at plus 7.5. It's probably a good line for the books there. You look at Providence, didn't really have a too tough of a time. Had San Diego State and Richmond, pretty much blowout in both those games. Kansas struggled a little bit with Creighton, but did win by 7, and obviously blew out Texas Southern. And yeah, this one's a tough one as well. That's what I'm saying. I think that line's good. 7.5. I've talked about this earlier. Whether to play it on the money line or to take the points in this particular situation. If I was going to play Providence, probably would take the points here. That's 7.5. Average margin of victory in college basketball is 11 points. Same in NBA. So once it gets close to that 11, it's advantageous to take those points as opposed to the other game I showed you with Houston playing on the money line. All right, let's take a look at UNC and UCLA. How about North Carolina, man? They are just playing really solid basketball. We have this game at even. Books have North Carolina plus 2.5, so pretty good line by the books there. Hit the wrong button. All right, so let's take a look. You can see here, blew out Marquette, took Baylor to overtime, but won that. They were favorites. Marquette blew them out. Dogs against Baylor, won that one outright. UCLA struggled against Akron. I mean, that was really, I think that surprised a lot of people. But again, the first game they played in 5 days, so they were a little rusty coming off that loss from Arizona. Did blow out St. Mary's here, 72-56. Yeah, and this is a game where I think the books lay a good line. And what I mean by, if you follow me on Instagram, I've talked about this. This line is tight, meaning it's close to my line. So really not a lot of value. We like to see at least a 5-point differential between my line and the sportsbooks line. Don't have it here, but if I did lean, it would obviously lean in the direction of UNC. And then finally, Iowa State and Miami. Iowa State playing some really solid basketball here, which all these teams are, right? I mean, they had to win 2 games to get to this point. Beat Wisconsin. That was a huge win. Huge win over LSU. Miami had that crazy game over Auburn. But I want to show you this too. Again, it's the point I made earlier. Beat USC in the first round there. take a look at this Auburn game. You know, Miami shot 48%, 20% from the three-point. Look at Auburn. They shot 30% and 19%. So, I mean, yeah, let's give Miami credit for winning that game, but that was the worst, probably the worst. I'm not going to research it, but that's probably the worst shooting game Auburn has had their entire year. So, yes, Miami won the game, but definitely put an asterisk by that win. And for that reason, I would definitely lean in the direction of Iowa State here on the money line, considering we have them at -5.5. The line is +2.5, so that gives you a solid 8-point differential. And Iowa State with a solid win over a really good Wisconsin team. So anyway, so that's my lines for college basketball. If you want access to all my power rankings for all sports, you can get that for $49.95 per month. If you want access to that, in addition to all my plays for all sports, $99 a month. And if you want to join for an entire year, that's the best value. Save about $600. It is $499 for the entire year. Get access to everything on the site, including all my coaching videos. Hey, good luck during the Sweet 16. Hopefully this video helped, and give it a like, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.